Welcome to the Healthy with Heartland podcast, the show built around bringing big-time value and discussing the business of food. Why? Because we're committed to helping families eat healthier, cleaner, safer food. I'm Matt Balducci, two-time TEDx speaker, father, husband, ex-bodybuilder, and business growth expert. And today we have a special guest, our owner and president, Jerry Freishtat.
Thanks, Matt. Great to be here with everybody. Just start out with family. I am married to the sweetest woman on the planet. Have 5 kids, as they mentioned previously. 2 of them, Justin and Amanda, both work within the organization. Justin's up here at the Baltimore operation, and Amanda and her husband, Anthony, run our South Carolina division. My other children, my second oldest son is a auto tech up in Delaware, does a great job up there. My youngest son, I'm proud to say that he is a police officer down in the Charlottesville area. Yeah. My youngest, who's a 12-year-old, is going to be the next Taylor Swift. So she's working hard on her music. So
I want to ask you just a funny question since we have Justin and you on the podcast here. So Justin, last week, if you guys don't remember listening, Justin started in the business at 14 years old. So how have you seen kind of your son evolve in the company? And, in terms of working together, how's kind of that dynamic been from a standpoint of growth?
Yeah, I think the best way to answer that question is, I'd say this with all my kids and just parenting in general. Your actions as a parent, your leadership, your work ethic, how you portray yourself, what you do is way more important than what you say.
Listening to that just got me a little excited, right? And the reason is it's so important to basically not just tell somebody what to do, but basically show them how to do it and be a great example, which you have been for your family so far, Jerry, and obviously super successful.
Interesting point you made earlier about how originally Heartland was not necessarily health-oriented in the beginning. So when did that shift take place, and kind of how did we make that happen?
It really took place in the mid-2000s. I'm going to say from like 2005 to 2007. Organic first started becoming, a niche word. It was really just response to the marketplace and recognizing there was a tremendous need for that. And it wasn't an overnight thing. It was over several years of time. And the real launch of the health food, people understanding it a little better, came when Whole Foods opened.
Why do you look and feel probably 20, 25 years younger than you actually are on paper in terms of your age? And what pushed you into the bodybuilding world?
That picture on the left, I'm 50 years old in that photo, and that's 30 years of pounding weights, workout, 5 a.m., and you can see I don't look too good in that picture, right? Okay, so what happened and got me into bodybuilding, and this is the same thing, it's about running into different people in your life. At the gym that I was currently going to, all of a sudden, there's a new trainer there, this huge dude. And,
that's how it always starts, right?
And I started noticing that he was training mostly females, and they were literally off the cover of Sports Illustrated magazine. I mean, these were exceptionally fit people. My wife was looking for a trainer at the time, and she likes to train really hard. So I said, hey, let me see if this guy will train her, even though she obviously wasn't a bodybuilder at the time. And got that set up, and she started training with him, and it went extremely well. And certainly follows a month later, I'm training with him. And after, I'm going to say about 6 months or so, I started asking a lot of questions. And I said, how in the world did I spend 30 years and I look like this and all these guys look like they look, right? And it was a one-word answer: diet. Okay, and that's when the education started for me. So the reality of it is I thought up until I was 50 years old, I was eating a reasonably healthy diet, was a reasonably healthy person, but the reality is that it was just misinformation and uneducation that led me to believe those things. So once I started in with getting educated on diet and what bodybuilders do and what they eat, how they eat, and the discipline, he one day just asked me, he said, you know what, I don't want you to do a bodybuilding show, but why don't we do a 4-month diet and see how you do? And I said, sure, great. I'm goal-oriented, disciplined as can be. Let's give it a shot. And then he told me, he said, this is going to be the hardest thing you've ever done. And I said, okay, yeah, sure. I've done a lot of hard things. Okay, well, let me tell you, it was by far the hardest thing I've ever done. And the experience with that, again, getting back to the discipline, the experience of going through that the first time, and then I successively many times after, made me realize that you can get to that level of doing something that's extremely difficult. And again, it doesn't matter what you do, whether it's the discipline to write a book, whether it's the discipline to compose music, whether you're an artist, I don't care what it is, but if you take something and get obsessed with it, your success level elevates in every area of your life, and you kind of realize that you can achieve way more than what you think you could achieve. A feeling that you get is just so motivating, and it becomes internalized with you. From there, of course, I went on to full-fledged bodybuilding, as my wife did as well. And, we did shows alternately over a few years. Both of us won Maryland State First Place Championships. I actually took 3 different divisions at one point. But the last time we did a bodybuilding show, we did it together. I don't recommend doing that. It's a little bit difficult with the discipline and how your brain is affected, when you're starving yourself with carbs and fats. Now, with all this said, by the way, I want to emphasize something here. I'm not saying that anybody should pursue a strict bodybuilding diet, okay? As a matter of fact, I'd even go on to say it's probably not the healthiest thing for you. But eating a healthy lifestyle and being motivated, the energy level that you have, I believe all success starts with health and wellness.
I want to talk about next week, guys. We're going to have our next special guest, Amanda, and then tell me if I'm saying it correctly, Anduiza. Is that how you say her last name? So
Nice.
She's our director of operations out in our South Carolina branch. She is a strong, empowered female entrepreneur with a master's in organizational development. Here's the coolest part, okay? And this is why I want you to tune in, especially I have a daughter at home. I want you to tune in and have your young daughters and sons as well, but daughters specifically tune in. She is phenomenal. And she, in her 20s, she's grown a division to almost $1 million in her 20s. Okay, so again, just exactly dropped the bomb. So we're super excited to have her next week, and we're going to be, I'm guessing, having her tie in from South Carolina. So it'll be our first remote podcasting. So I'm excited for you guys to learn from her and learn about her background in organizational development and her passions and why she decided to basically help grow the family company. So with that, guys, I just want to say thank you to Jerry for taking the time out of your busy day.
You guys, I appreciate it.
I appreciate everyone tuning in. And again, if you're interested in getting an appointment and having Justin or one of our wellness consultants come out and introduce you to our service, please reach out, go to our website, click the link, and we'll get you set up for either a virtual or in-person tasting. So thank you guys and have a great afternoon. And let's go kick some butt with some of the knowledge we have from Jerry. So talk to you later.